broken to break. Watch me blooming strong. Bearing, becoming. This is my song. Finding my voice. Stepping into light. Healing my past. Claiming my fight. Every woman's journey, beautiful and true. Bearing, becoming. I'm becoming new.
Good morning, everybody. We have a beautiful Thursday morning. What a sunny day it is after such a lot of rain. And it was a bit cold the few days and even last week. So yeah, we have a beautiful Thursday morning, and I hope that you also feel beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So yes, we are up and running this morning with a very important topic that I think is so needed in today's society. And so we are talking on the topic gender identity conversations. How do we talk without tearing each other apart, right? That is the topic for this morning. So this is actually a topic that goes so broad, it goes so wide. This topic can be how do you talk without tearing each other down in families, in relationships, in friendships, in husband and wife, you know. So we're going to try and touch on a few things this morning. So we have a full house here this morning, and we are so grateful for everybody who actually took the time. They will introduce themselves now, but we thank you so much, beloved, that you came and that you are gracing us with your presence. You know, I feel that this topic is so close to my heart because we find that in marriages per se, you know, for the most, I think it is important for marriages, because we feel that when couples tear each other apart, it's usually not because they don't love each other. It's because they feel unheard, they feel disrespected, or they feel unsafe in the conversation. So I believe that healthy communication isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about handling it in a way that protects the relationship. So that is what we are actually talking about this morning. So I hope you are with us this morning. If you want to put in your 5 cents, your 10 cents, your 100 rand, gender identity conversations come up, and why. I just want to ask the ladies, the gents, thank you so much for coming. I'm going to ask there from Pastor Xavier, if you can just say hi to the people, and then we're going to start.
Oh, must we say hi? Or must we say hi and so must say our thing?
No, first say hi.
Okay, first say hi. Hi, welcome to it. This been becoming. Looking forward to this conversation on gender roles, gender identities. I'm Xavier Hendricks, and happy to be here.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Vorster, and I'm so happy to be here and have this conversation on gender identity, and I'm pretty much excited. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, good morning. I'm DeBeer, one of the co-hosts on the Bear and Becoming show, and I am so grateful or privileged that I can just share it with the beautiful favorite people this morning.
Yes.
That we have here, and looking forward to a very, very interesting conversation. One of my favorites. Communication, in a nutshell.
Morning, everybody. My name is Anka Hendricks, and as usual, we're back with Bear and Becoming, and excited for today's topic. And yes, we brought out, like I like to say, we brought out the big guns this morning.
Yeah.
We're going to have an interesting conversation, and there's so many nuggets that I know we'll get from this. But if you are watching, please comment, like, and subscribe. We'd like you to be a part of the conversation. So please, we live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. So please comment the way we'd like to mention your name as well.
Oh,
Good morning, everybody. I'm Sonia Vorster, going by the name aka Lady S. I'm so excited to be on B&B, Bear and Becoming, and I'm looking forward for the topic. It's also something close and dear to my heart. In fact, I love conversation, so this platform
That's
is just
awesome.
beautiful.
Thank you so much, beloved. So now, in a nutshell, guys, just in one word, when you think about gender identity conversations, what goes through your mind?
Okay, I'll start. Is gender identity or gender roles more? I'm getting the sense that
It's
it's
gender
leaning-
identity, because there's two different identities. There's male and there's female, right? There's different identities. So in the that's why it's conversations at the end. How do we talk to each other without tearing each other apart?
As woman and man.
As female and
As female and male.
my two words will be there: love and respect.
Yeah.
Right, awesome.
Respect. Mine would just be growth. If we know how to speak to one another, it's growth.
Wonderful.
One will be for me confidence, because confidence in a woman doesn't mean she wants to be the man.
Okay.
Mine would be listening.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Very
I
interesting.
like that one.
Listening,
Yeah, very important. I think mine was already taken, the love and respect, because respect goes a long way.
Goes a long way. Definitely it does. And then also, I think mine is communication. Communication's key, right? You have to communicate
She
your
see.
feelings. You have to communicate and then listen.
Yeah.
Listen when your partner or your friend or your child talks to you, right? Listen. So yes, as I said, that it is not that couples don't love each other when there's a little bit of a uncomfort feeling, when the atmosphere, that atmosphere when you feel like is no elephant in the room. So my first thing is, guys, if you are now, I want to put you on the spot.
Put us.
I would like you to share a moment.
How can we then work together in order for this thing not to happen again?
Right.
And we had that, and it works a bit up until a certain point, because as you know, with my life coaching skills, it assists me, and then I assist Abby to say, okay, we can use this technique or this tool in order for us to resolve this. And it went well that day, I must say. It went well.
Okay.
Yeah. So they other days it didn't, but that day it went well. Can we keep it real?
I'm not going to ask.
Can we
at the
keep it
scale-
real?
I'm not going to ask on a scale of 1
One
to
to
10.
no, don't do that.
I suppose I was the one that went off track.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my wife's, like she said, with the coaching, it's a bit difficult to have a wife who have coaching skills, and especially where we have done a coaching course. At times you have to stop and
Practicing
say,
the coaching
I'm
on
not
you.
part of your client. I'm actually your husband. Yes. So yes, as he said, yes, we have to come down and sit down a bit and say, okay, and also make sure that nobody's around. And
Right.
then, so that we can that you can speak freely.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can speak freely, and then also say, okay, this is the issue, and this is the steps.
Okay.
I'm feeling about at times to follow the steps, and that's why
Right.
she's using words like a bit and for the day, or I said I think she should mention a few days. That would make more justice.
Okay.
I think for us, when we had heated conversations, what worked for us is if we actually waited to cool down in terms of emotions. Because when emotions are high, everyone's right.
No, it's fine.
Everyone's right. So for us, if we got a favorable outcome or for the conversation to actually go well, we had to put our emotions aside. So wacht tot die heated aspect
Yeah,
is cooled
yeah.
down. And then we come back and it's the way we address each other. So instead of shouting at each other,
Yeah.
trying to make your point, and understanding one another's language, then we come in with like a change of language, change of vocab. So instead of being accusing and saying, yeah, but when you do this and then you did this and it does this to me, instead of doing that in that tone of voice, you'll say, I mean, when there's certain times when you do this, it makes me feel a certain way. It makes me feel unloved, for example. It makes me feel unworthy or something. But the technique here is to not respond immediately. So sometimes in conversations, when you have that conversation, you've got
Yes, your guns.
your guns are loaded already because you want to defend yourself.
That's correct.
So the technique there is you can't say anything. You need to wait for the emotions to cool down and come at the later stage. Just say, I hear you, but this is also how I feel.
Right.
essentially.
Right. What
For
would
me,
you
it
say?
would be absolutely to wait till the mood of the other person. You know, if it's your spouse, you know when they are in a good mood.
Yeah, true.
So the timing is absolutely important, to wait for them to be in the right space, for both of you actually. Because if you are not over that emotional high, you are not going to get the conversation to flow in the right direction either. Because jy is nog op 'n high and die persoon is nou nie daar nie. So I was sitting with a situation just recently, and I could feel that I'm still harboring.
Resentment.
Yes, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Resentment because of the other person not handling a situation the way you thought it should be handled. But we managed to talk through it at the right time,
Right,
Okay.
and it went well.
and it went well.
But it's only if one can just ask, just if you just ask a question, because I had a friend that has a problem that he wants to cool down,
Right.
but the wife wants to speak now.
Yeah, and that
And he
happens
feels that, listen,
most
yeah,
of the times.
If I have to speak now,
Yeah.
you have to
Um,
call
that's
the
a
fire
female
brigade,
thing,
the
right?
police, you have
Yes,
to
it's a
call
female
the
thing.
Malacca
It's
Commission,
important.
you have to call everybody, because
Yeah.
right now I'm not in a good space. Give me a day, and
Yeah.
then he will say, give me a day or two. But I said, a day or two? A day? Do you know what is a day or two? It's long.
That is long.
It is long.
But he
doesn't-
feels
The
a
Bible
days
say
or
before
two.
the sun
Before
goes
the,
down.
that sounds
A
like
day or
me.
two is a
The
bit
day
long.
of two sounds like me because sounds like I don't want to wait a day of two. You know why, Joan and the host? It's like you feel like life is so fragile. You
Yeah,
can get in
anything
the
can
car, you
happen,
want
that's
space,
correct.
and you want to get into the car and go somewhere, and something, God forbid, just happened. Did we at
I
the
hear
time?
what you're saying, but having experienced this just recently, I felt like I needed the time just to compose myself, just to work through the emotions. So sometimes what he wants is also right. I know biblically it says, "Do not let
No,
the sun
you,
go
but
down."
you cannot.
on
I
the-
a
No,
day
the
or two
day
is
of
long.
two is too
I
long.
disagree.
You
A day
think
of
the
two
A
day
few
is-
hours
no.
maybe.
2 hours or 3
hours.
hours.
Okay.
Because
A while.
When
here's
you
the
go
thing.
to bed, you must make right because of the fact that, as Sonia said, anything can happen. We don't say it will because
Yes.
we take things for granted,
Granted.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
But besides all of that, you when you have a day or two, you create bad habits.
Yeah,
True.
absolutely.
And it prolongs, and you'll come to find yourself that there's a week, 2 weeks that you're not speaking because you need cool off time.
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, it prolongs so much.
No,
Jy weet nie eens
definitely.
weer hoekom jy gefight nie.
Ja.
Nou praat julle nie meer en you
That's a
create,
good one.
you build a wall. Now you're struggling to get back to communicating
And you
with
see,
one
if you
another.
don't deal with it,
Yeah.
there's a vacuum.
True.
There's a hurdle.
Right.
And so the hurdles in the middle of the two of yous are building.
Yeah, it
because
creates
it's
a-
one thing after the other,
Becomes
after
wider.
the other. So
Right.
it becomes wider.
Yeah, that's
So it's vitally important before the sun goes down. But nevertheless,
Wait,
we're
I
gonna
didn't throw
carry
my
on.
2 cents in that
Okay.
other.
Yeah.
In that other topic. so my 2 cents is what helped us is that we in the beginning of our marriage we felt like we're versing each other. Ne? So the problem comes, here's the problem now in the middle of the table. Now you on that side of the table, I'm on this side of the table. But now the problem is standing one side and watching us fight each other. You're like, yeah, but you didn't this, yeah, but that day you didn't this, and yeah, but you came late and you da. And that problem sitting and looking like, kyk nou die twee, hulle beklei mekaar. And eventually we got to the point of saying, you know what, let's be on the same side.
Yes.
And
then reverse the problem.
Yes.
Now we go on the same side. Now here's the problem in front of us.
True.
Now what happened? Maybe you came late. I felt a bit irritated because we were already, I told the people we're going to be here this time,
Yes.
and now this. It might be that. Or I didn't have the money to pay this thing. Now
Yes.
they're phoning. Now we're under pressure.
Yes.
But now we're fighting each other.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
not solving the
instead of-
problem.
True.
It's not going to make them stop phoning. It's not paying the bill. But no one's clean. No. Now the house is unpleasant. Now the children are not sure. Must they go sit in the lounge or in the room? Now it creates a whole untidy situation,
fact.
and it's not solving the problem.
That's very true.
So we decided, instead of versing each other, let's verse the problem, but
Yeah.
be on the same page.
My
and that
pastor.
was a big game changer for us. We were like, hey, here's the problem, same page. Are we gonna address this thing?
True.
Yes, that's beautiful, beautifully said. So that just tells me that conversations about gender identity can quickly become emotional. You
True.
saw the emotions now immediately, right? When we spoke about it. Yeah. Not because people want conflict, but because identity touches something deeply personal.
True.
It touches something personal, it touches dignity, it touches belief, different beliefs, it touches experience and the truth of the matter. So the goal isn't to win the conversation. This, I want you to even make a note of that. The goal isn't to win the conversation, but the goal is to hold it with care.
True.
So, it is vitally important for you to understand in any conflict, there's no winner. There's no winner. You must deal with the situation in a respectful manner.
Yeah.
And if your wife wants to talk, let her talk. You know what I'm saying? But you must listen. You have to listen. If your hubby wants to talk, let him talk. Because that's his time when he wants to vent. It's going to make him feel better. How do you feel when there's an atmosphere in the home? Do you think your children don't pick up that there is something not lekker here?
It's the first place where you find out by the
Yeah,
kids.
no,
It's the
definitely
first
so.
place.
They don't know how to behave.
They don't know. They become restless. For instance, in our house, if there was a time early on in when we were trying to find our way and trying to see, how to navigate, because I always had a point to prove and I always wanted to be right, and sorry was a word unknown to some of us. But we won't talk about those things right now. Then it creates tension in the house, and the kids
Absolutely,
are restless.
yeah.
They don't know how
Yeah,
to
no,
be.
they
They become
don't.
anxious.
They don't
Because
know.
it's not supposed to be that way. Your home is supposed to be your sanctuary. And as women, I always say this: we create the atmosphere.
Yes.
We have to create a space
Yes.
for peace. So it's a place where our kids must want to come home. It's a place where our husband must. It must be a
Yeah.
matter of the kids must be anxious to want to come home. They must be like, I'm late for home. When we knock off at work, I'm late for home, because it's a safe space. It's a place of peace. But the kids, they feel it first.
That's correct. So I want to go into my first question. Why do small disagreements often turn into major conflicts in relationships?
Yeah, for me, I feel like sometimes the disagreement is not actually the problem. Sometimes the disagreement triggers
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
the real problem is.
most of the
I've dealt with many situations like that, and even in our personal situations, where by the time we're fighting about the disagreement, if you leave that fight a little bit longer and you allow the other person to talk just a bit more, you find out within an hour you're completely away from what started the argument, and you back at the thing we fought about last year or the original thing. So that small disagreement, oftentimes it's not about that.
Yes.
We're fighting about now. You busy wiping the floor, you mopping the floor. I didn't see you were mopping. I walked on it. Bah! Now we're fighting. I'm cleaning the house the whole day, and you walking. You're on my wet floor, and da da da. Now you find out it has nothing to do with the wet floor.
Yes.
It had everything to do with you moody, you irritated because you feel like you always have to.
Unloved.
Yeah, you always have to
Yeah.
clean the house. You always the one that must wash the dishes. You always the one that must. That is the issue.
Yes.
And then now, if we get 2 hours into the conversation, we realize also this had nothing to do actually with the floor.
Yes.
It has everything to do with the fact that you feel, hoe kom ek altyd so, en jy sit en mors net hier so, en as ek nou die meid hier in die huis, en as ek nou die, stuff like, then you find out, okay, this actually had nothing to do with that small
That's
issue in
so
the beginning.
true.
But I think another contributing factor is that the reality is the vast majority of couples don't understand that there's two languages in a marriage. There's the language of a man and there's the language of a woman. We don't communicate the same.
That's correct.
So when we address something as women, we feel strongly about the only thing we really have is our mouths to protect ourselves. So we come forth as being very, I don't want to say independent, but we want to be independent. We're strong. We also have a voice. We also have an opinion. The challenge is now we challenge our husbands that way.
Yes.
However, they're reading it like a man.
Yes.
So they're reading it like a man would read it.
Yes, confrontation.
A confrontation. So now what happens is he's going to respond to you like he would respond to a man. But if we come in a softer tone, to use your example, you're saying you walked on the floor. If I would have come in and said, "Baby, I just washed the floor and I'm really tired," and
Tone of voice.
if I just the attitude just changed, tone of voice,
Yeah.
he would have read me differently. He would have said, "Sorry, baby, I didn't mean to do that. Come, I wipe it up for you." So what escalates the fight, or what creates a very big mountain out of wat noem mense, a molehill, an anthill, or wat ook al, is just how we approach it, and understanding that there are two separate languages, because a man reasons in respect, but a woman reasons in love.
Love, yeah.
So if I approach it with respect, baby, please don't walk on the floor. He will see, okay, my wife sees me.
Yeah.
And then he can come in with a softer, loving tone to say, okay, fine, let me sweep it up for you. I didn't
That's
mean that.
correct, yes.
I will just sit here and say, I love that example that you made, but remember when we talk about us sometimes, and we cannot talk for a brother. Because sometimes if there's abuse, the woman can come in and speak soft, but that man already so abusive, or maybe have another relationship and then wants to aggravate the woman.
That's correct,
So we
yes.
need to
That's
look at that
correct,
things
yes.
also,
True, yeah.
and not sometimes our situations, not generalize it. You didn't do that, but I'm just saying that's why people sometimes feel out there. But in my situation, it's not the same, So I would say the reason why small arguments become big sometimes, it could be also because of persona. When my husband have a persona about my response already, and I just say something small, then it becomes big, or he says something small, it becomes big because he always does that. He never do that. So that persona that I have
the
about
brand,
him,
yes.
the brand, the perception,
Perception.
already make the thing big. And like Pastor
Preconceived,
Xavier said, the unresolved underlining issues. There's issues that we have not dealt with. Now you're coming again, and this is a small thing. I have addressed it 5 times, but yet you have not adhered, maybe just come so that we can resolve it. And now the small thing come. Then I bring up that 5 that we have not resolved.
Yeah, and
I'm
that
like
is-
that.
and
I'm
that-
like that.
And that happens.
I'm
It
like
happens
that.
in marriages.
Yes.
It's not a small thing.
It's
It's
not
actually
a small
that
thing.
common
She's
things
too
under-
real, right?
I am too
No,
real,
be real.
Pastor
That's the
Xavier.
whole point.
Should that not be the case, whereby we address the flaw, the wet flaw now? Because in any marriage or relationship, there will always be things, maybe little
Definitely,
things that
that you-
unresolved.
yeah.
That's right.
But if the cup is not a problem, I think a level of maturity is
Okay.
also that
Yes.
because when you're married now 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, a level of maturity in the marriage
That's
where
right.
you've grown. The way you spoke to your wife or husband when you were married 2 years ago,
Yes.
you cannot speak to your
No,
husband or your wife
definitely
when,
not.
when
Yeah.
you're 25.
Because
right.
now you
Your
know him
needs-
better.
the husband needs to grow,
Yes.
and the wife needs
Yes.
to grow to that
Absolutely.
level where you need to
Understand one
understand.
another.
that,
Yes.
If I speak to my wife like this,
It's gonna cause a
this is
problem.
gonna.
Yeah.
You should know.
You know each
and-
other.
Yeah, we
better,
grow
yeah.
into each other.
But I just want to say this. The definition of insanity is if you keep doing the same thing
True.
over and over and expect a different result. So here's the thing. If you know something is triggering your wife and you know that it's going to escalate, why do it? So the point I'm trying to make is that both parties need to come to the party. You both need to come to the party because jy kan nie ou bene gaan opkrap nie,
Ja.
maar jy kan nie bly die bene gaan bere nie.
Yes.
So
I repent.
Baie
so
waar.
you need to balance it. You need to balance
I
it.
repent. The pastor is here. He's going to
Maar die
lay hands
pastor
on
moet
me.
ook repent.
Okay, so what
saying
we
level of maturity.
Yeah.
absolutely
Level
so
from
you have to
both sides.
understand each other.
Yeah.
Level of maturity.
Yeah.
You need to grow
Yeah,
up.
yeah, you have
Cannot
to.
be a toddler.
So what we gathered in that first question is actually that if there's small disagreements that often spirals into major conflicts, it's because of what we just gathered here: emotional reactions,
True.
right? Communication patterns. How do you communicate it, right? And then underlying unresolved issues.
True.
Yeah.
Right?
That
So
whole
you
thing just
didn't
triggered
deal
it,
with
yeah.
that.
Yes,
So
yes.
now this happened, and now you somehow come out with everything that
repentance. I
happened.
need repentance
Right?
from that.
It's about how people interpret, respond, and carry past experiences into the present moment. And that we don't want. We want to deal with it maturely, respectfully, and the most important, with love.
It's right.
Because you married this woman because you loved her. You married this man because you loved him.
That's right.
Right? And now down the line, respect goes out of the window.
True.
Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am.
So I want to ask you this question. Would you say it's more about feeling unheard than being wrong?
Pastor Violet.
Absolutely, yes. Argument really escalates, right? Because of the facts that is on the table, but rather because of the underlying, as you just alluded to the fact.
That's
it's
right.
the underlying emotions,
Unresolved issues.
unresolved, harboring resentments, as Pastor Xavier earlier said. So yes, it's because you feel unseen, unheard, and that is why I would say yes. It's absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
so
a yes.
so I'm
You don't-
rephrasing. No,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Okay.
But I'm asking another question. So if you feel unheard or unseen, right?
What do you do?
in the conversation or in the relationship,
Right.
what do you do? What can resolve
not validate
the
it.
issue?
You have to sit down because what we do as women, we hint. Ons gooi die kaste se deure toe, die borde word hard neergesit en a silent treatment. And what I learned early on in my marriage is men don't understand hints. They it's not ek weet nie of hulle
They don't
moetswillig
go,
is
they
nie.
don't
of-
go by hints.
They don't go by hints.
Even if I know it's a problem, I don't want to do hint. Come tell me wat gaan er.
Yeah.
No hint, ik kan niet goed.
Can I say
and,
something?
and then a woman would say, couldn't you see?
Ja, jy kan mos
Couldn't you
weet,
see?
kan jy vir
I
jouself
felt like
dink.
that.
I could see, but
Couldn't you see?
I
I
don't
was
know.
laying on the bed.
Yeah.
No, I saw it, but the thing is like,
Could mean
just come and
anything.
say, could mean anything. Just come straight to me and say, my husband is here. This is the thing.
Ja.
But for me, it's like, guys, as you can see, I'm talkative. I want to conversate. Ek wil praat. I throw the cupboards, but I don't throw it a lot. We have few cupboards in our house, so I can't destroy it. So I want to talk. I want to have a conversation.
There's no
So-
doors. We've
Yeah.
taken off the doors, so nobody
Yeah.
can.
In the kitchen, some of the doors is off in the kitchen. So the few that's left, I can't throw it because we need to save that. So I want to talk. So I agree with Pastor Anka. I would always invite my husband for conversation. But also what we need to understand, growing up and cultural play a very important role.
Yeah,
Sometimes
culturally too, yeah.
men was not used to, maybe their parents or even their brothers
that's
and
so
sisters.
true,
Remember we
Yes.
talk about any relationships
Yes,
here.
yes.
Sit together when there's an issue and talk. They will just, throw in the cupboards, everything. Tomorrow they greet each other again. But I feel like, no. Don't my husband know my favorite word. Please don't dismiss me. Let's just talk about this quickly, and when you have time, can we talk about it? So I feel, Joni, conversations must take place. I think
So
many.
it's in other words that you became offensive and he became defensive
Yes.
in the situation because you took offense because he didn't do A, B, and
See. But I don't want to shout about it. I want to talk about it. I want him to hear me why I feel offensive. You
But
know?
these walls are
These
up.
walls already up because, my wife, you remember the persona that I said? The walls is already up. She will bring out 10 other things. Let's just talk about this one thing now. You know what I mean? So I think that causes sometimes.
But you see, why you bring up the other 10 is because it was never resolved.
I never had a time where we said,
Absolutely
let's
so.
kuluma. Let's
Yeah.
speak about it.
Right.
I just want to comment there. Someone very wise taught me early on in my marriage. You come from two different cultures.
That's
never-
right.
Absolutely
That's right.
so.
But what this wise lady told me, you create your own culture.
I thank you.
And that
You are
is
family on
the-
your own.
that's the most invaluable,
So true.
hoe sal ek sê, the priceless advice.
True.
Yeah.
And the author is truly yours truly. Ma has taught me that very early on in my marriage. And that nugget has carried us, which meant that, ja, ek het gesien my ouers doen 'n ding in 'n sekere
Ja.
manier. Maar hier in
Jy sê
ons
jou
huis
ouers sê.
doen ons 'n ding anders. But it's a conscious decision.
That's right.
So as much as I might have seen 'n deur word toegeklap of wat ook al, I need to decide, this is my marriage. And I need to fight for my marriage. So ek gaan nie 'n deur toeklap nie.
Yes.
Ons gaan nou sit. Ja, I raise my voice because that's how I was heard. I grew up with brothers and al wat ek gehad het is my mond om my te beskerm.
Right.
But now I'm with my husband. My husband isn't my brother.
True.
He's
True.
hy is die hoof van ons huis. So ek kan nou nie my mond gebruik nie in daai manier nie. Want hy gaan my slaan as ek ordentlik
Yes.
vir hom bykom. Gaan hy vir my bykom. But if I speak to him in respect, there's a culture that you need to create, but you decide to create that culture.
I guess to
So
answer,
what do you...
to answer the original question that you asked is if someone's feeling unheard.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the original
yeah,
question.
That's right.
was the one.
It's again the language that we're speaking to
That's
one another.
correct.
Yes.
So it goes back to love and respect. I remember in the beginning of our marriage, my father bought me that book, Love and Respect.
That's right.
And as men, we reason in a language of respect.
That's
If he
correct.
does respectful to me,
Yeah.
because two men, and I said this in last week's show, two men understand that the only place that this can escalate is violence.
Yes. Yes.
Ons gaan mekaar slaan, ons gaan mekaar
Yeah.
steek, ons gaan mekaar skiet.
Yeah.
That's where this is going to escalate.
That's right.
Right.
Women speak a language of ek wil praat. I want to
Yes.
speak about
That's
this thing.
so
I
Yes.
want this and this. This is why you find that that women can be sharp with the tongue because that's the language that they speak. They can
That's
hit you with
right.
the thing that's like, yo, that was below the belt. You didn't have to say that. now."
Yes, true.
And so when you fight with the tongue and I fight with the fist, we're going to end up now escalating the thing where this is why we find gender-based violence.
True.
Because the man feels, but you must now can't speak to me like that. You want to speak to me like that, come let's deal with it. Like 2 hours would have dealt with it. Like us once makaar slaan.
That's right.
And that's how gender violence escalates because of that communication gap.
Yes.
We're disrespecting one another now and then the thing escalates. So for me it boils down to the way we speak to one
True.
another.
Yeah.
True.
And that's what escalates the thing.
True.
So true.
So I want to know, Johnny, in
No,
the
before we
unheard.
go- sorry, I'm off that
No,
topic
sorry,
now.
sorry.
So I want to ask the next question. What are some common phrases
Ons is vrywillig geworden.
couples use that actually damage the relationship? What are some common phrases couples use that actually damages the relationship?
Accusatory language. You always, you never.
Common one, yeah.
Those are
Yes,
common ones.
that's
You
it.
are,
me-
you are like your brother.
That's
You are
right.
like your
You're
mother.
father.
You are like your aunt. You are like,
Yes.
and I'm like, what do you?
Comparisons.
Because I
Comparison.
stay with my brothers, I stay with my mom, and there's some things that you don't know about my mom
Yes.
or my brother. So now, or maybe I had an ordeal with my brother or my sister
Right.
years back. So now you're telling me I'm like my sister. So
Right.
I'm going back 15 years back where me and my sister had a heated fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I want to
You're
forget
using
about
my
it.
past
Yeah,
against me
trauma.
now.
I use my part, and I forget.
I put
now
you in
you
trauma.
bring up my sister. That's even now she must not be dead.
Yeah.
Now she's even dead. Now you bring up my.
Oh,
dead
now you
sister. Yeah. No.
My favorite phrase is fine. Do whatever you want to do.
But that's gaslighting.
Because I
Right.
feel like I don't wanna. I'm like, fine. What if you think that what you were doing is correct in your eyes? It's okay. For me, it's the reason why I use it. For me, it's like I want to end the conversation then now because there isn't a conversation.
But there's
That's what it is.
gaslighting.
Yeah.
I know.
So jy is die ene wat die bene bere.
Nee, kykie, the rede hoekom bear ek jou bene, because why, I feel like we didn't have the conversation at all, guys. And that's why I wanted to say that sometimes it confuses me if I'm unheard. I want the person that causes the unheard thing to lead the conversation, and sometimes it's not happening. And that's why I was like, okay. When I say do whatever you want, I said in that moment,
So annoying.
one of my favorite phrases also I said sometimes is, I'm giving up my right to be, I'm giving up my right to be right.
So
No,
what is
you're wrong.
important to be
That
right
is
or
wrong.
to be?
I don't want to be right. So that's why I'm saying,
That's a
let
wrong
you be
approach,
right,
right?
and leave it.
Okay,
know?
let's
Saying
try to go on to that one.
Let's
It's
go
like
on
saying,
it.
Okay, no, sorry.
I think
being
that's
wrong.
a wrong approach.
Yeah.
That is not solving the issue.
Yeah.
I know.
That is brushing over
But that is
it.
one of the key phrases you say. Remember we said,
Yeah.
you're always
It
like
is-
that.
it is
Yeah.
the
It's a
idea.
phrase.
You
You
never
know,
do this.
you never do this.
You never see
It's fine.
me.
Let's
Yeah.
leave it. Do what you think is good.
You wanted to say something, Pastor?
No, I wanted to say for me, it's the one of stop being so sensitive. You oversensitive. You petty.
Yeah.
And because that's also gaslighting.
There's
brushing
people
away
also feel like you
your
guys
feelings.
like
Yeah. So it's like you don't have the right to feel a certain way. That's also one of the
One of them,
common
yes.
ones. The never, you mentioned never.
Never. For me, it's the ones that, no, okay, then I'm leaving. Or, okay,
Yeah.
ek soek ook nie
Los
meer dit,
alles.
los
Look,
alles.
exactly what I'm saying. It's
that's
fine.
also
Or we
fine.
use, and a lot of couples don't realize this. They use my man gaan my los as ons nou dit doen, even in
Yeah.
a joking way.
Yeah.
That's an absolute no for
Yeah.
us. A lot of people don't realize those are words you
Ek het
speak
seker
over
somewhere else grootgeword, mense.
over your marriage.
Ja,
Yeah.
julle old school. Daar so. Daar het julle mooi gepraat.
No, but you see why people use those phrases like Sonia mentioned. It hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts, and it generalizes the behavior.
True.
So you generalize, you never do. Okay, you must carry on, right? So now you leave the issue.
Yeah.
As Pastor Xavier said, you're not dealing with this because you are not on the same page.
Yeah.
This is the problem. Now you are fighting. Now this problem, look at you,
Yeah,
Pastor
and
Xavier is
fighting
an
each other.
example.
Yeah.
Now you are fighting each other. I think sometimes, if I say the problem, sometimes the devil uses your attitude,
True.
your
Ego.
things,
Personality.
your
Yeah.
ego, you
Ego.
know, to stand in the middle of your relationship.
True.
And that is the thing that you need to watch out
We need
for.
to.
It hurts because you generalize, right? You actually attacks the person's character
Yeah.
and makes them defensive.
Right.
If you say, okay, well, carry on,
Yeah.
because you're just like your father,
Mm.
or you're just like your mother,
Yes.
Right.
you're attacking
The
that
character.
person's character.
That's right.
I had an altercation with somebody 2 weeks ago, and the person did that to me. He said, okay, well, then do whatever you want. Then I actually addressed them. I said, hello, we're not going to deal with this thing
Yeah,
like
no.
this. You are wrong. Please can you acknowledge the fact that this is not how we're going to deal with this. And the person didn't want to budge. They were like, nee, dan do nie wat jy wil. So I said, no, but you can't just say do what you will. Now, I'm the kind of one that I'm like a pit bull now. If we're in a conversation, like, you know, they say pit bull have lockjaw.
Yeah.
As jy byt in 'n head jou, né?
Ja.
Ek gaan dit nie los nie.
Ja.
Especially if I know I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
If I know, look here, bruh, you overstepped here.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
especially if I smell blood, if I can see you know you're wrong.
Yeah.
If I bite and I can see, it's like you know you're wrong, but you don't want to fold. You don't want to say sorry.
right.
Now I'm not going to leave. I'm going to say, but bruh, you know you weren't supposed to do that. You know you weren't. Yeah, but now you say other excuse. I said, no. Back to the original point. Then you say other excuse. I said, don't go to that excuse. We are here now. Yeah, but this other day, that. We are here. Don't bring up those excuses from the time when I was wrong or the time you feel like I robbed you. We are here now. We are dealing with this point
issue.
here.
Yes.
Apologize or we're not moving from this point. And I sit there till somebody says, all right, bro, look, at the end of the day, I was
But
wrong.
Mr. Xavier, that is a huge problem, not just in relationships, in workplaces as well.
Even in
Last
friendships.
week, we had a fight in the boardroom because nobody wanted to take accountability for a bigger mistake that person had made.
But everyone knows it was you that signed the
We
thing.
stood up from that meeting, but that person have never taken accountability up until today. We all have to fix the problem now.
But we all know it was you that signed the thing or did the thing or what. I'm not weird yet.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
But how you get a person, like you
So
said,
in the
in the relationship.
in the heated argument,
Yes,
or in the
Johnny.
heated situation,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
How can you bring the person to understand without tearing that person down?
I want to have encouragement because I
Right.
need to repent.
I
Pastor
think,
Xavier?
maybe
What,
if,
what
if-
can you say
Yes.
instead of
Okay.
tearing them down?
I think if it's in a work environment like Sonia, what she's asking there now, there now you can use things like policy.
Yes.
Good.
The policy says
Good.
this is what needs to
ABNC.
happen.
Good.
And this is and then you use the position of the person. You are an HOD.
You're
and
right.
because you're an HOD, this is the requirement. When they hired you or they put you in the position, this was the requirement, and this is what you
Right.
must do, and that is why you get remunerated for. So you can start using from that, and this is what you need to do, and also say, okay, this is the amount of people that has to assist you in making the decision for you to sign. So don't just go sign alone. First, bring it down to your colleagues and say, colleagues, I'm about to sign this. What do you guys think?
Yes, buy
And
in.
if your colleagues, so whenever you sign, you can say, okay, I did sign, but I've signed, and I also got.
Buy
I
in.
went
Now,
to
in,
my,
in
you know,
marriages,
things
there's
In
no
marriage.
policies.
In
right?
There's
policies.
So you actually, what do you do in a marriage? What do you do in a friendship?
I want to
What
know
do
I think
you
it's to
do
deal.
with-
I think it's to deal with the issue at hand.
I want
Because
to.
here's the I'm going to use this issue again.
Yes.
Here's the issue, my bro. We are arguing about this thing here.
Yes.
Did
The
you or did you
bloomer.
not go there? I did. Did you say something you weren't supposed to say? I did.
Yes.
All right, so that's the problem.
Yes.
Now, this that you said created all this ripple effect here.
Yes.
So here's the thing, the ego comes into play again. Acknowledge that, you know what, guys, I was actually wrong. And for me, accountability,
Accountability.
it goes across the board. In marriages,
That's
in
a fact,
relationships,
yeah.
even in
That's
churches.
a fact.
The fact that
Fact.
someone leaves a church, go talk
Fact.
nonsense
Yes.
somewhere else, it's like, hello, bruh, you were wrong here. You were supposed to say sorry,
Yes,
and we would
so
have carried
true.
on, and it would have been all right. But now, instead of taking accountability for the fact that ek het gesê wat ek nie moes gesê het, ek het gaan skinder raak wat ek nie moes gaan skinder het nie, and now it created this issue. Now you rather throw the whole thing upside down and blame everyone else. Or
Besides
one,
yourself.
if that's the case, then I want to leave. No, don't leave. Say
Okay,
sorry.
I think also how you can actually speak to the person. You know, there's two things that stands out. It's the tone you use,
Yes.
right,
Yes, Jonah.
and the timing.
Okay.
Like especially, I always say to people I speak to,
Mm.
I will always say there's a right timing to speak to your husband, to speak to your wife, because you know each other. Even with a friend, there's a right timing.
True.
You can see that, no, this person is not going to handle this at this spur of the moment in the right manner. This is going to cause friction. It's
That's
going to
right.
cause unnecessary arguments. Let me leave it for now, you know.
Yes.
But then you must find the timing. You know, I always say, those years they spoke about pillow talk in marriages. There's sometimes in your marriage that you have to stand backward. Don't always want to be right, because there's no right and wrong
True.
in this argument now. We have to address whatever is in the way that's standing in the middle of the two of us.
The issue is the
The
problem.
issue is the
Not us.
problem.
But John, I
not
just
us.
wanna ask you. We were earlier talking about timing, and you
Timing is
you
important.
refer to the word that says before the night end.
Yeah.
And many times you find sometimes it happens. Say for instance, a disagreement happened 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. We go to bed. and the other partner, it could be me, it could be my husband, feel like I'm extremely exhausted and tired now.
Yeah.
I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
But I want to hear from you, are we going to talk about the issue then tomorrow at 3 o'clock? And you say, I don't know. Timing. You want to know so that you
Yeah,
can,
you can't-
because you don't want to enforce the person. He said he's tired. You respect that. She said she's tired because, like, I know last night I was so exhausted. My husband make a nice pot of food, but he understand that. But I want to know. Give me then a time from your side. Say, for instance, me and you are friends, and
Yeah,
we
you
had
see,
something.
because
You
are-
need to.
Your character is time bound. It's
No, my
phrased.
character is structure. I want to
Absolutely.
structure
You can
because
call it
even if you
structure
said
as
to me,
well.
sis, can we talk about this next week Thursday? Then I know this
Right.
issue is sparked.
Right.
We're gonna deal with it.
Right.
But I don't just want to. No, we're gonna talk about it. But when?
Yeah.
We can't just go
You
on
see,
and never speak
can
about
can
it.
I tell you what I'll do? I use timing. Daarom sê ek, jy kan toer met jou man.
Mm.
Because you check, when is this man in a lekker mood? You know, because you see him. You know your partner. You know your friend.
That's right.
You know, you will not address something just there and there because it's now on your mind and I want to now talk about it and you must just listen.
True.
That's a wrong attitude. Tone and timing is of vital importance. If you come with a tone and say, can we just talk about that, man? Because we didn't deal with that thing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Already
The tone.
you put me off because ek het klaar my guards op.
Right. I want to come in there because this brings back to what you said, goes back to what you said and what I said earlier about waiting, to calm down.
Yeah.
Because that is also important.
Yeah.
And then Anka said, well, we all agreed what the Bible says about, but I think it's situational. When
It's
when
situational,
it
yes.
goes to your friends, you need to allow, and
That's
I like
correct,
what you
yes.
said, saying to the person, can we talk about this next week?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
then you give that person a time
That's
to
right.
think about
That's right.
what they said.
Yes.
And it's not about being wrong
Yes.
and who's right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
and at times, Violet, you don't even have to give a time that you now feel, okay,
Yeah.
next week, Thursday, we need to speak.
Right.
You can
1
just
o'clock.
say, when,
If you are available.
you're right.
Yeah.
When you're okay to talk about this issue.
Yeah.
But
But I can decide that I'm okay over 3 months.
Yeah.
Remember, if it's Joni, we need to be so real.
true.
If it's something that is damaging to the relationship,
Yeah.
and I said to my husband, for instance,
It needs to
can
be
we talk
addressed.
about it
Yeah.
whenever you're ready? Because he's the culprit. He can
You'll
tell
never
me
be
he's
ready.
ready next year.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
need to also see our phrasing of words. And like you say, situational.
Yes.
What is the issue? I mean, if me and my friend just have to clear something,
Yeah.
it's fine to say whenever you're ready. Our relationships goes on. It doesn't damage the relationship. But if it's something that can be detrimental to the marriage or to a friendship, you can't say when the person is ready. He can be ready when Jesus
I
comes.
just want to say, just real quick, just a quick thought there.
Hey, very ready.
False sense
I
of
think
peace
it-
isn't
yeah.
peace at all.
Yeah, no, true.
And when you shove it under the rug, you're just creating a bigger mess.
True.
And it accumulates, and it accumulates. You have to. So the fact of the matter is, yes, you're going to have to put a time to it. You're going to have to say next week, Thursday, 1 o'clock. Because you're never going to be ready to address
yeah,
the issue.
especially in a marriage.
If you-
Yeah,
if you-
true.
The other-
or friendship.
The other short thing that I just want to say is that when it comes to a marriage, there needs to be compromise on both ends. As much as you're a person that needs to cool down and you can't deal with it now, you need to go sleep now, whatever. You must also bear in mind that your wife has got structure. So let's meet each other halfway.
Absolutely so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, we're going to Dingus. We
think-
only have a few minutes left, so I still need to go
from
to
where we are
parenting.
and where we're going, I think it's also I'm just thinking about it. Wouldn't it be better for couples or for friends to say, okay, if there's an issue, way forward, we give it. If it's a heated thing, we're giving it 2 days.
Yes, we can
If it's,
agree.
you gotta agree and say,
Yes.
okay, if there's something that
Yeah,
we're really
yeah,
interested in.
yeah.
But
We
there's
don't
also
go
a
for-
sense
we
of-
don't
Yeah.
go over.
There's also a
we
sense
don't go
of
over 2
maturity.
days, 3 days,
Yeah.
and weeks, and so like.
There's a
that.
sense of
There's a
maturity,
timeline.
maturity and pettiness also that comes
Yes,
into play.
yes.
Now I'm avoiding your calls. Now I'm blocking you.
You blue tick
now
me.
I'm doing all those funny things. I don't believe in that.
Yeah, me
if
too.
we have a misunderstanding, and my
Me
group we
too.
have a misunderstanding, I'm not gonna avoid your calls
Yes.
and block you and this. I don't operate like
Me
that. I know
too.
people that do. They'll block you, some of blue tick you, and I like, guys.
They don't
if
want
you
to
decide you
confront.
don't want this relationship anymore, right? From a friendship perspective,
Yes.
then I'd rather make a hard decision that I made up my mind about this relationship. I don't really want to engage.
Yes.
And that's it. Then I walk away.
True, Pastor Xavier.
But I'm not gonna be petty about it and childish.
Yeah. So we actually understand that it's hard to listen when emotions are high.
True.
Because you know what happens to our brain? Our brains shift from reasoning to reacting.
Sure.
And
That's
that's
true.
the shift. Emotional intensity hijacks our ability to process information calmly, making us more defensive, more reactive, and less able to truly hear what the other person is saying. It's important to gather yourself and say, you know what, I have to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? I think that is why sometimes I feel like maybe as ek nie 'n mens op die aarde nie, because when it comes to my marriage and my relationship, I don't know heated arguments. To be quite honest with you, I don't know heated arguments. We can talk about something, but I will wait due to the fact that I already know how my husband is. He don't like when you have a tone, a certain tone in your voice. Already his defenses goes
Okay.
up.
Okay.
So what I do, I know how to talk to him.
That's right.
I'll go to him and I say, Angel, how's the day? And whatever, like normal.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll compliment him, I'll affirm him, and so on. And then I will say, you know what, that we discussed earlier, don't you think that was a little bit harsh of you? Don't you think that I pose a question
That's right.
Right.
and then he'll answer? So I think it's vitally important not for your brain endorphins
Yeah, endorphins. Yeah.
to actually heightens.
Yes.
And then now in that emotional state,
Yeah.
how can someone hear and listen to you
At that stage.
in that high
High.
level?
It's actually called the prefrontal cortex,
Text. Yeah.
That's correct,
That's
yes.
Yeah.
which is needed
Yes,
for
yes.
logic and
That's
listening.
That's right.
They say it shuts down,
Down.
True.
Yes.
making it hard to
Yeah.
Process
new information.
information.
Because your emotion spikes.
Yes.
It spikes.
So now you're not
And
listening
it brings
either way.
anger,
Yeah.
it brings hurt.
True.
Doesn't matter now what
fear.
I say, he will me no,
Yeah.
he will never know.
Is it there where the high blood pressure come in? Then you need to go for your tablet and so on
Yeah.
because your bloeddruk
What
is
do
nou
they call it?
opgegaan.
Amygdala.
Medulla
Yeah.
oblongata.
Medulla oblongata.
Yeah, amygdala.
Yes.
The brain's alarm system.
Yes,
Yeah, that
yeah.
activates, right?
Yeah.
So it's important for us to hear each other, to listen to each other. Okay? So I want to go to parenting. I'm going to leave the rest. So do parents fully understand the long-term impact of their words on a child's identity?
I don't think so.
I don't think
And I think when the parent does it, they don't think about their long-term
Yeah,
impact.
no, they
He
don't.
shout net because he can't stout. But then you don't realize there in the front now the child says, Dad,
Yeah.
one day Daddy
You have
told me
planted the
this and
seed.
this.
And also when children are grown up, for instance, I'm grown up, my husband is grown up, our children is grown up. it's still important because sometimes we can scale it down to little children, but it's still important to grown-up children. I mean, Pastor Xavier is still your
Very
son, whether he's a
important.
pastor or not.
Very
It's also important how you say things to him. So that is so important. And like when they grown up, then we have to watch them totally, you know. Ek
How
bedoel,
you say
ek
it
het al 'n
and
paar
when you
keer
say
om
it.
die huisaltaar repent en hulle het 'n gebed vir my gedoen. Verstaan jy? So it's baie belangrik. You need to. Because a parent cannot always be right. Can we
Absolutely
get
so.
there?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter if it's a child, whether they stay under your roof, that you are right when you say just things to the child. The child can come and say, Mommy, Daddy, I don't appreciate what you have said, and you must listen, like you said. Then you must listen then.
So, which means we have to make time for each other.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
You know why I feel it's very important what you say to children? Because it sticks.
True.
Does.
It sticks with them. You might have forgotten what you said,
The child down.
but in the child's little brain, that child feels like, oh, so do they think that about me? So I am like that.
True.
You know, so the child grows up with that.
True.
To be quite honest,
True.
I had
Yeah.
a simple example, simple experience that that my brothers teased me. It was just teasing. At my siblings,
Yeah.
they used to say, "You know, Daddy's child. You know that," or "You're not Mommy's child." So then I always used to wonder, I wonder, is this true?
Yeah.
Am I adopted?
Yes,
or
yes.
am I?
And the irony, you're the one that looks the
And
most
I
like your
look like-
parents.
Yeah.
And you got your mother's name.
Yeah.
But I just want to say this, that very few people realize that a child from birth to the age of 7, their ECD, is the
Yeah.
most very important
so
years of a
important.
child's life.
Mostly.
Their core memories, their subconscious, and everything gets formed during those years. And if people, you commonly hear people say, "Ag, as 'n kind is hulle gou oor dit kom." That is what forms the child's moral compass when they grow older, where their trauma comes in, are they secure, are they insecure, all of that, and even stability. You will find that children that maybe they grew up by a grandparent, they grew up by an aunt, and
Yeah.
they didn't grow up by their parents, and maybe it was just a matter of the finances weren't great at the time, and then later on they moved back to their parents. They experience rejection. They have to deal with that growing into their adult years. So those the ECD phase from birth up until, and I would even argue to say in the womb, for a child that, an unwanted pregnancy, the rejection is experienced
Yeah, it's
from
experienced
there.
from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
so true.
last week we had a speaker here, someone that's 20 years old who went through trauma, and she mentioned something about the inner child. Right? She didn't
Yes,
mention
yes,
that
yes,
word.
yes,
You
that's
remember?
correct, yeah.
She said the child
younger
in
child,
me, the
yeah.
younger person in me
Can't forgive my
cannot
father.
forgive my
Yeah.
father.
Yeah.
But the adult in
Yeah,
me
forgive.
Knows
knows
that I must,
I
yeah.
must
Yeah,
forgive.
I must forgive.
So in all of us, there's that inner child that never grows up. And therefore, at occasions, people will mention, go back, they already 50, 60, then they go back to the childhood years. And they say, that's how
Absolutely.
you made me feel.
Because I just feel that sometimes you don't understand the words that you utter to your children can be permanent damage.
Yes.
Or the lack thereof.
Or
The
the
fact
lack-
that you
or the
never
so
said
Yes. The
congratulations
affirmation.
Yes.
or
Oh,
well
I
done or
love
something.
you.
Yeah.
Or
Yes.
simple things,
Right.
because
The
you
fact-
know your children's
That's
love
right.
languages.
Yes.
So just to affirm them all the time
Yeah.
helps a lot. You understand what I'm saying? And then the next question that I have is, what is the difference between disciplining a child and damaging them emotionally?
Yeah, I think when you discipline out of anger, it
That's
shows.
correct, yes.
If you
And out of tone.
he's tone
Out of tone
because he's
also.
nar of he's kwad of
Yeah.
his what. Now I've disciplined. I have 2 girls. I've disciplined, but I'm not angry. I'm not fighting. I'm like, baby, you're not supposed to do that. Come now, I have to eat you on the bums. Then I eat it. It's not seer, but now I'm saying, baby, I have to tell you, you can't do this, because if you do this, you're gonna get hurt here,
That's
and you're gonna
right,
this and this and that. And then that child understands, hey, my father's not hitting me on the bums because is angry. We're not fighting. I think you can sense a tone. The whole atmosphere is different when we're fighting now. This is now a different tone, a different atmosphere, a different environment altogether now. But if it's coming from a place of love to say, but you can't be doing this, then the child understands, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah.
In my case, sorry, I just realized now, I have our honorable Dirlene, I love her so much. I have that kind of tone. So it always sounds I'm fighting when I try to correct. So I said, even yesterday, I said to my child, it's correction does not mean rejection or I'm fighting with you. It's just to redirect you in how you should do things, you know. So sometimes I hear about the tone, but sometimes I can say something very nice, but it seems like I'm fighting because I'm a louder, but I'm not. I don't justify it, but I try sometimes. When I speak softer, then they think also I'm sick. There's something wrong with me. So I mean that, and that's it makes me sometimes so confused. How should I show up today? Okay, let me test my tone when I'm gonna ask something or speak, so that I can not be perceived like I'm angry or I'm
fighting.
The discipline is actually to teach.
Yeah,
To
that's
teach our
correct. Your
children.
children. That's
So
right.
when we do it in the wrong way, then
Yeah.
we actually, notice that there's inappropriate
That's correct,
fear.
yes.
You actually shut the child down.
That's
You
right.
feel there's changes in their behavior, and sometimes they withdraw.
true.
Yeah,
Sometimes they become extremely shy.
True.
Sometimes they become aggressive.
yeah.
So it's important to discipline in the right way, like we've all said, in love.
Love.
And I like what Pastor Xavier said, and I've heard it before. It's like the Bible also says, spare the rod and spoil the child.
But discipline is also leading the way. I just want to
Yes.
throw it in there.
Yeah.
We sometimes want children to do what we're not doing.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I just park it there.
Yeah.
We-
Okay, I just want to
Okay.
bring
Yes,
in
let's
the
just go
comments
to the-
so that if there's a question there that we can actually just bring it in there. We've got Yonita Edwards. They say, good morning, gorgeous ladies and gentlemen. Auntie Heather's there. Good morning. Marvin Matthews. Good morning, fam. And then Auntie Heather says, it's worsening the problem if you don't face it. It's so difficult if you can't deal with it because you're afraid to, you're going to hurt the other person. She also says, well said, Pastor Xavier, it triggered something. And then that was alluding to the mop situation. And it triggered something. Then Yonita says, yep, tone and body language can switch up any conversation. Marvin says, do you find that there are expectations in your current marriage and household that compares to what you've experienced in your family home while growing up? If we'll take someone who can answer that just now. Well said, Lady S, that's your expectations, like hier kom 'n ding. And then Juanita says, die ou bene, yo. And then Auntie Heather says, thank God, Pastor Denver, it's definitely growing in grace. Auntie Heather says, it's a matter of searching yourselves first. That's if you are born again Christians, and it can be a controlling spirit.
Absolutely.
Marvin Matthews says, it stands that your spouse can get the best and the worst out of you.
That's
And then Yonita says, at times the wife will ask to chat, being very respectful. However, because of the husband's pride, he wants to have the last say, and the discussion goes south very fast. And Heather says, but something caused that, Pastor Xavier, and it's where the root of the bitterness grows, because now you're becoming aggressive one way or the other. Yonita says, taking accountability is very important in any relationship. I am percent says, Pastor Xavier and I are same WhatsApp group, pit bulls. That's Leandra in the comments. Then Auntie Heather says, it all comes down to the attitude. Once the atmosphere is clear, don't be defensive. You need to become selfless. It's like, what would Jesus do? The ampersand says, the common thread is respect. Dr. Sherwin Bailing says, good morning, family. The approach to conflict and resolution. Number 1, start reframing the conflict. Number 2, slow the moment down. Number 3, move from accusation to expression. And number 4, listen to understand, not just to win. He also says, number
Absolutely.
5, identify the deeper layer. Number 6, take ownership. Eventually, even partially. And number 7, repair it quickly. Awesome show and conversation.
Yes.
Auntie Heather says, "Oh, Pastor Joan, you have so much to thank God for. No heated conversations." And then Jonita Edwards says, "100% Lady S. The way you speak to your kids can make or break them. And having adult kids, you need to respect each other as well and not speak down on them because you're the parent." She also says, and the behavior the kids see growing up, they can one day easily take into their own homes. And lastly, Auntie Heather says, definitely in the home it happens. That's why our children's personality is totally different from each other. And then just heading over to Facebook real quick. Facebook doesn't really have a lot of comments there, but just to bring in the people that was there, we know we have Colin Seaford that's there as well. She, and then Charisse McCabe says, "So true, Pastor Joan." Colin Seaford says, "Wrong is wrong and right is right." Lenine Kuhn says, "The struggle in society today is accountability." Colin Seaford says, "Policy and procedures," and that was alluding to the workplace. And then also apologize if you slip up. Simply apologize simply if you slip up.
Van jou afvalling, man.
In fact, it saves the thing if you just say sorry.
Absolutely so.
Yes.
Wel, as jy weet, ek het nie
I
nonsens
think I
aangegaan.
learned that early in
Yeah.
my marriage.
Then apologize simply if you slip up. Sincere apology, correct yourself and move on. Lenine Kuhn says discernment and tone is key. And then Colin Seifert says halfway, 100%. To meet each other halfway. And then choose a calm private time to talk. And discipline leads
So
to respect.
important.
To respect independent and better social behavior.
Yes. So that brought us to the end of our show, and we actually just want to thank everybody who tuned in. We really appreciate and honor you and love you guys. So yes, just one thing quickly. Last comment, one word.
One comment. I don't want to give advice to somebody out there, but I just want to say I have unlearned a few things again today and keep relearning. And that's for me an amazing part of the show today, to learn and to apply, you know, because sometimes you can unlearn and then you leave it there. And you can learn, but you don't relearn.
Yeah.
So
For me, it would be conflict is not necessarily a bad thing. It's how we deal with the conflict, and there must be certain conflicts so that you can grow from it. But it's how you deal with it.
For me, it would be listening, which is an important skill. And it's to listen, not to respond to be right, but really to listen and to be present, fully present in the moment. And to leave, all distractions, put it aside, like the phone, for example.
Like I said in the beginning, it's listening. There's two things in marriage and in life. There's fights and war. And sometimes in marriage and in friendship, we want to win the fights, but not the war. The war is much bigger. And sometimes we want to win the small little fights in a marriage, in a relationship, but the war is big.
It ends up to divorce. That's the war.
So many people want to win the small little fights, the petty fights and stuff like this.
Don't
Win
sweat the
war.
small stuff.
Stay married longer. Have more respect. Have more listening. Have more that. And I think that's my 2 cents in there.
Yeah.
Last comment.
For me to close, I'll say fight the problem, don't fight each other.
Yeah, awesome. Wonderful. So, yes, beloveds, my 2 cents is avoid, how can I put it? I want to put it nice. I don't want to put it so bluntly. I want to say avoid, and especially I want to speak to women who earns more than their husbands, or maybe their husbands are not working, but they are working. I want to ask you with my navy blue eyes to not demean them. Don't let them feel unwanted. Don't let them feel that they are less than, to go into that shell and that low self-esteem, because they still the head of the home, they still your husband, right? So it is vitally important for you to keep the balance and to keep the respect, irrespective of. And then my last sixpence is see them how God sees them. See them through the eyes of love. Because remember what the word says, love covers a multitude of sin. So let love prevail. I love you. God loves you. Go in the peace of the Lord.
Amen.
Broken to pray. Watch me blooming strong.